In this video tutorial, I'm going to go through what it looks like for a student to take a pretest on NoRedInk that a teacher has assigned. So if a student were to click this, they'd start with a question. Now they also have this option, they can pick edit your interests or no thanks. So I'm going to hit no thanks for just a second. Right here, there's a little play button. But unfortunately, that's restricted to premium account users. Text-to-speech is a really great tool. So that's one really good reason to go premium. Now, for a student taking a pretest, what they're going to do is have a question and have a prompt and have some buttons to choose an answer. And they can always pick I don't know. I always try to stress with my students that this is to figure out what you know and what you don't know. Clicking I don't know is not a bad thing to do because I'm kind of actually hoping you don't know it, because that means I have something to teach you. And then on the teacher side, because I'm in as a test student, I can also show the answer. So if I hit I don't know, we'll just progress to this test and kind of look at some of the different user interface features that help students create answers for these questions. Let's highlight all the words that make up the two independent clauses below. So as I drag my mouse over, I can see different words. Again, these are not correct answers, it's just showing the user interface. And then I can submit an answer. Complete sentences, one of a fragment, so you have other questions. Again, I tested none of the answers on here being complete, and that's a nice, easy way for me to make an excuse for maybe not knowing some of this stuff off the top of my head. Because as you'll see, teachers, unless you are a supreme grammarian, NoRedInk is a fairly rigorous course when it comes to grammar. But the cool thing is that it makes really rigorous grammar concepts incredibly accessible to all students. And that's why I really like this site. So I'm going to keep guessing away on my answers, hitting I don't know, and then for students, they will get a little tutorial when the user interface becomes more complicated. And if students follow along with it and read the directions, they'll be just fine. If they don't, let me go over it real quick. So they want you to click the semicolon to change it to a different punctuation, and then they can submit answers. Sometimes they need to drag a comma, or sometimes they need to click a word to change the capitalization of that word. Sometimes they need to throw away a piece of punctuation in order to create a correct answer. Sometimes the correct answer is already there and they can just leave it alone so they can get to it. So then they go through clicking different words that highlight so they can capitalize and basically just making the sentence correct. So we'll go through that, adding and removing commas if necessary. Students really want to make sure that they're reading the directions carefully. For example, this one says add or remove commas if necessary until the sentence has correct punctuation. But you can also accidentally capitalize the word lullaby right here for no apparent reason, and you'd be getting the answer wrong. So you need to, the idea would be adding a comma, but also being careful of how you use the user interface. Making sure to continue to read the different prompts. And here we have a highlight the word sort of question. Wrong answer, I guarantee it. And right here, students will see something like a themo. And many students will ask me, what's a themo? And if they're taking the pretest, my answer to them is, you'll find out eventually. But for now, it's okay to hit I don't know. There's another tutorial that pops up potentially later on where students potentially rearrange words to sometimes maybe make something be in the active or passive voice. And so students will go through the tutorial and learn how to use the rearrange words or throw words out feature. And once they get into it, they may see some optional punctuation they can drag up into the sentence. They can drag words away. They can rearrange words and submit their answers. At the end, students will see the results of their pretest, which I think is absolutely vital. It drives me nuts when students take a test and don't know their results. And waiting for feedback, nobody likes that. So with this, students can see overall if they are proficient, approaching, beginning, or struggling. And that's pretty student-friendly language to tell students how they're doing in these different topics. Students can then return to the dashboard, and what students in my class would see is a follow-up assignment based on one of these topics. In the next video, we are going to, as a teacher, see how to view student results of the pretest and then create an assignment to follow up on the topics that the students have been working on in the pre-assessment.